So we are here at the Porsche stand in Geneva, which is a great stand anyway, and we have a great person beside me, Mark Weber. Nice to meet you. How is it? His first time in Geneva?
No, I was here a few years ago. Incredible show, all under one roof. Obviously, first big show of the year, so there's a lot of big manufacturers here, or everyone is here, honestly. And obviously with Porsche, we have some really nice models in our first big collection this year, so good to be here.
But it's a change for you. Now you're not anymore as a race driver, you're here now as an ambassador, which is the main difference for you.
Well, of course, no more race suit, so yeah, the helmet is off, but yeah, the role has changed. Obviously, a little bit more work in this space, which is actually quite enjoyable. Also, a little bit of consultancy on the motorsport side, so really being involved in how that's going, which is rewarding, actually. It's quite nice to see some of the little improvements that we can make and keep, that's Porsche's mentality. We always want to keep understanding how we can improve, get better. Racing is a big part of our DNA, so I mean, it's the part of motorsport, or it's my business that I've understood for so long.
So you're still on the racetrack and you follow the guys. You
absolutely.
You help them as well. You drive.
I don't drive the car, but if I can have some help with the experience, then I will try to give a view on that, of course. And I'm very close to all the drivers. Obviously, I know them well, so that is a nice balance.
So if you know them well, we're going to ask you about the Swiss driver, Neil Johnny. How is he?
Yeah, pretty good. Look, I think that he's at a good level. Obviously, you know, he's under. Also, there's many fast guys. Obviously, that's it's very competitive at the front of P1, and you know, he had a great season last year. Obviously, with winning Le Mans in the championship. So with Romain and Marc. So in the end, you know, he's part of Porsche as well. We know that he's got a great season ahead of him. Maybe he can do the same situation again with Le Mans and the championship. Clearly, that will be Car One's goal, because he'll have number one on the car this year. But Toyota will be strong, so we have to keep an eye on them.
Who was faster, you or him? You know, as a race driver, this is always the main question, isn't it?
Me.
Good. That's the real answer, you see? So, but Neil has another chance now this year to prove that he's really fast, and he is, as much as I know. What was your main point? Why did you enter the WEC?
Well, for me, it was a great opportunity to continue racing, obviously with the best sports car brand in the world, which is Porsche, and to go to work with, you know, people like Timo and Brandon, Neil, and all of these drivers, which we had actually a pretty good bond, to be honest. Engineering-wise, to go with a new team and build Porsche up, because of course Porsche is very successful. We have had so much success over the years at Le Mans, but we had to really restart the whole program again. So that was quite enjoyable to be involved with that restart. Sometimes a bit frustrating, but also very nice to experience that. So I wanted to continue racing, and that was a nice way for me to finish my career in such sexy cars, fast cars, and it was a nice balance.
Cool. And now you have those cars, and now you work more for the street cars. Do you also help them to develop the cars? Or is there a certain transfer?
Of course, absolutely. We're always looking at ways to use the racetrack and motor racing experience to go into our road car products. The transfer of technology is very, very important, because we know the racetrack is the best proving ground. We know that what we can do on Sundays with the race cars is going to go into Monday to Friday with the race cars. So we see that with the new Panamera Turbo S E-Hybrid, that it's a lot of correlation between the 918 and the 919. So with a big hybrid factor on this car, huge amount of horsepower, 680 horsepower combined with the electric motor and the combustion engine, 850 newton meters of torque, which is just an incredible amount of torque. Absolutely. So it's the fastest saloon in the world in its class at the moment in terms of horsepower. Extremely quick around the Nordschleifer. So these type of technologies and these things, I understand this technology so well because we had it for 4 or 5 years inside our Le Mans winning cars.
So it's the same parts, or some of the parts are really taken over?
Absolutely, the methodology and the understanding, because you know, we need reliability, we need drivability, we need range, we need all of these things, which is completely functional on the racetrack, is then coming to the street. And efficiency also on the fuel side. You have to understand that on the combustion, we need to be very efficient with the engines on that. So it's very, very environmentally friendly, this car, because it has a 50k range. 50k is a normal average drive, if you like.
In Switzerland, you make almost the whole way through Switzerland.
On the electric, which is silent, good for the environment, and also very, very high power.
In Australia, a bit more difficult, I guess, with the distance.
It's okay, but maybe you might also hit some kangaroos, so you've got to be careful.
Okay, that's another point. But we keep the car like it is. What do you prefer from that car and compared to the race car? Which are the
Well, of course, I'm very comfortable in this car. It's a road car, so you can drive it for many, many, many hours. You have beautiful air conditioning, you have a nice sat-nav, you have a really nice cabin environment. So that's, Porsche are world-class at making the driver comfortable, but still having, obviously, a connection with the car. So for me to do really, really long trips in this car is very, very nice. Of course, I have a beautiful windscreen, beautiful wipers, all of these things which make the experience very, very nice. In the race car, it's much harsher. Obviously, it's a very brutal environment. It's noisy. It's much more difficult. So I would prefer to do a long trip with this car.
You do the long trip with this car. 24 hours in this car is going to be more easy than in a race car.
Very nice. Very straightforward, but a little bit slower.
Okay, so that's an argument. So, and what do you think is the main point or the main client who is going to buy this car?
Well, for sure, it can be a great family car, no question about it. It's super, super quick on the autobahns, of course. We also know that even if you think about Switzerland, for example, GT sales, even 911 GT sales, are quite high in Switzerland, even though the speed limits, everything is very, very well regulated. But we still know the high-performance cars in certain areas are selling very, very well. So on beautiful roads, on nice climbing, twisty sections, whatever, it's four-wheel drive. Very, very good. So you need the four-wheel drive component. So it's such a versatile car.
Yeah, we have also put some pictures on Facebook where there was one driving with some other brands in the snow, and there were no four-wheel drive. So we're gonna propose this car to those people. I'm not gonna tell any brands there, but maybe it's also something good for the family with the whole family in it on the Nordschleife.
Yeah, this thing on the Nordschleife is quick. You know, this is a lot of power. And you're right. I mean, to have the versatility of this car as a family car in the winter, in the summer, to do nice long trips. So why not?
What is your lap time on that car? Last question.
I haven't driven at the Nordschleife on the limit with this car, but I know people that have, and they're very impressed. I've driven the car on the street. I really like it a lot. And for me, the opportunity to have such a fast horsepower package and just the flexibility and range of this car. If you want the emotion, you have so much horsepower. If you want to have the range on the electrical side and cruise through the streets of the cities, you have this. You have so many different options with this car that if you're a little bit of a racer at heart and you still have the Porsche inside, then this car can still give it to you.
Okay, I think that's the argument for the car. Thank you, Mark.